Yeah, here we go, we're back. We're in Tooting today. Tooting. So guys, we're in Tooting. A very special friend of mine has recently opened up her own barbers, Hayley, so we're going to go and visit. We're going to go and pay a visit. We're going to go and show you inside. It's only been open like a week, 2 weeks.
Oh yeah. So Josh has actually picked the right location today.
Yep. So we're back on form. Here we go. I'm lost.
This is going to be the best vlog.
How long has that been shut down for? Hey, how are you?
I was just thinking about you and then you pop up. How are you? You're alright.
Let's see how long it takes me to clear up. I'm good at this.
4 hours later.
4 hours later. So I could have went pro as a kid.
You before?
Huh?
Good shot, mate. That was a Wild Hare Tooting. If you're ever in Tooting, make sure you hit it up. We'll drop a link below. So basically that was someone who Josh has known a long while, new barbers.
Yeah, so I met Hayley for the first time like 4 years ago. She was the first barber that I had that actually gave me a proper haircut and a good haircut. So before then I was actually getting like rubbish haircuts really, like you know those £6–7 haircuts. My hair was growing everywhere and I always felt like 2 weeks later I'd need a trim up. So I've known her for like nearly four years now, so it's amazing to see she's opened up her own place and it looks lovely in there. That's it, so we're gonna get on. So right, gents, so back last week, was it last week we did the McGregor video?
Must have been, yeah.
Must have been last week. So last week, during the video, we actually got talking to Richard about thick hair and about how if you have thick hair, it means that you're gonna go bald not as quickly as someone with thin hair, and he was like, that's a myth. Does that mean he's gonna recede a lot later in life though, because he's got thick hair, or is that a myth?
I think that's a bit of a myth, man. I think that's down to your genetics really, and what side you take it from.
So when we thought that, we was thinking let's debunk some hair myths. We've got 6 hair myths to debunk for you today, and we're going to give you like a little story behind them. So myth number one, myth number one, the more you cut your hair, the faster it will grow. So that is a complete and utter myth. And the reason why is because just because you cut a bit of your hair doesn't mean it's going to grow faster. The main part of your hair in your scalp is your follicles, and that's where your hair grows. So you can go and get your hair cut every single week and get a trim up. It's not going to make your hair grow faster. And gents, for guys with beards, that's also the same. Different beard follicles inside the cheeks and on the chin, they all grow at different rates, and sometimes that's why we have patches, because different parts will grow at different rates.
Myth number 2. So one thing.
I'm not doing that. I generally ain't doing nothing now.
Myth number 2 is so myth number 2 is shampooing your hair every single day is better for you. I think a lot of gents and a lot of women as well think that you have to, when you wash your hair, you have to shampoo your hair every single day. But this is actually not true. It's all a personal thing. So for me, I may need to shampoo my hair every day. For Josh, he may need to shampoo his hair every 3 days. So you do not need to shampoo your hair every day. Actually, shampooing your hair every day with the chemicals that are in some shampoos can actually strip your hair and can actually damage your scalp and damage your hair. Look for when your hair gets oily. So when your hair gets oily, that's when you should wash it. If your hair's not oily, then you shouldn't wash your hair. Standard is probably 2 to 3 days.
That's what I'll do 2 to 3 times a week.
2 to 3 times a week to wash your hair.
Myth number 3 is having thick hair means that you're gonna go bald at a later stage than someone who's got thin hair. Now this is a complete and utter myth. It just means people with thick hair can hide it better than people with thinning hair. So people with thinning hair, you notice a lot more and a lot quicker when they're going bald because they've got less hair there to cover it up and for it to show. People with thick hair, so I'd say I've got quite thick hair myself, even if I'm going bald, I've got more hair there to hide it, to cover it, and it just looks like I'm not going bald. So that's all that is, guys. So, and I believe this myth. I actually thought this myth was true. Yeah. So I was holding on to this because I've got quite thick hair. I was thinking, oh,
I've always thought that as well.
I might last a few years before I go bald. But it's just not the case. It's a genetic thing. But if you are fortunate enough to have thick hair, it just means that you can probably play with it a lot more in certain areas where it's going bald and hide it a bit better.
Myth number 4. So while we're on the topic of going bald, one myth that is quite common is that baldness comes from your mum's dad. Now, if you're like me and your mum's dad was bald when he got to an old age, this may get you worried. But balding does not come from your mum's dad. It's not been proven. It's a combination of genetics from your mum, your dad, going back in time. But it does not come from your mum's dad.
Myth number 5 is wearing a cap all the time means that I'm going to go bald quicker or it's going to make me lose my hair. Complete and utter myth. First of all, let's go back to the early 1930s, 1940s, 1950s.
Peaky Blinders era.
Peaky Blinders era, Frank Sinatra era. They were wearing trilby hats and caps all the time. They didn't go bald, and it's the complete same now. Wearing a hat all the time doesn't mean you're going to go bald. Now, one warning, if you do wear a hat very tightly all the time, then that is going to bring some negative effects. So we wouldn't recommend doing that, and we wouldn't recommend it being extremely, extremely tight. And also, it is sometimes nice to let your hair in your head get some fresh air. But guys, it's a complete and utter myth. So if you do like wearing your hats, whether it's a cap or with a trilby or with a flat cap like Beck's, don't worry, don't let it bother you. It doesn't mean to say you're going to go bald quicker. So embrace the cap. I'm done.
Never thought that would be in a video. Myth number 6 is that towel drying your hair is better than blow drying. Now, this is a little bit of a controversial one because it depends how you do certain things. So the majority of men, when we towel dry our hair, naturally get out of the shower.
I'll go really hard. Yeah,
rub,
really
rub,
hard.
rub.
Yeah.
Now, this is terrible for your hair.
I'll do that. So
anything that's pulling your hair is not good because that's potentially pulling your hair out. So you don't want to rub your hair when you get out the shower, when you get out of the bath. You want to pat your head dry. Get the towel, pat your head dry, as opposed to rubbing it hard. Now that is terrible for your hair. That can cause hair loss. So do not do it.
And I'm not even playing to this. I generally do that.
So blow drying your hair is not bad for you if you do it right. If you blow dry your hair on too hot of a temperature, then this is going to be terrible for your hair. If you blow dry it away from your head, keep the hair dryer on a cooler setting, then it's not going to be bad for your hair. And also potentially use heat protecting products. So towel drying your hair is not necessarily better than blow drying your hair.
Peeps, we hope you enjoyed it. We hope you found it of value. If there's any myths that you know that you've debunked, let us know. Or there's any questions you have.
See you later, guys.
Bye for now.
Should do Goodbye My Lover.
How's that go?
James Blunt.
Oh yeah.
Goodbye my lover.
Goodbye my lover. Goodbye my friends.
You have been the one.
You have been the one that I know.